I'm sitting with Roy Dotrice, who does that incredible impersonation of a man several hundred years before us. 200 years and some, anyway.
Nearly 3, actually. Yeah.
There were no sirens then.
No. 'Twas not so in Queen Elizabeth's time.
The audience is actually going to get a treat that no one gets in the theater, because we're going to get to see you take off the makeup, and the transformation that you go through takes you how long to do, to put on?
To put it on, Dick, takes about 3 hours. I like to allow about 3 1/4. Simply because things can go wrong. These are the eyebrows.
Do you use those eyebrows again?
I use them twice.
Yeah.
And the worst part, and the thing that takes the most time, of course, is the work around the eyes, because that's all latex, and that has to be built up. It's acetone-based latex, and it has to be built up bit by bit, you know, and each application needs to... I'll try and take them off in one piece to show you. Each application has to dry. It's quite painful, actually.
They're not reusable then, are they?
Not really, no, because the edge becomes so thick with spirit gum and so on.
Is that spirit gum? Your skin must be raw at the end.
Yeah,
it is a bit red.
It is a bit. But I find great difficulty over here getting the stuff that I use in England to remove makeup, which is called surgical spirit. Can I take this out?
Oh, what is it? Tell us first. Oh, it's a gum.
That's a gum
it
shield,
looks like
you see.
I wondered if, in fact, I wasn't going to ask you if you actually only have one tooth above, because...
Now, I have these gum shields which are made, and they fit over your teeth, and they look like gum. And on them you can put 1 or 2 teeth, however many you want.
Yeah.
This is getting difficult.
You have your hair in your beard, I see.
Well, I've got my own beard underneath, which makes it more difficult.
That's true. Will the mirror help?
That will help a lot.
Can you see?
That's splendid. Right.
The agony of this must be... Do you ever remove any of Dotrice himself?
Oh, quite frequently, yeah.
When you're doing this?
Yes. It can be...
Can you see that?
That's better, yeah.
Okay.
Now the wig comes off, comme ça.
This is really...
See, the trouble with the wig is that in order to try and get rid of the join, one has to... this is made of acetone-based latex. And so I have to bleed it into the skin with acetone, and then on top of that apply some water-based latex to hide the joint. Do you mind if I pick my nose?
You're giving yourself the first live nose job. That's incredible. And that's rubber too. Makeup was actually a hobby of mine as a kid. I used to do elaborate character makeups. And is that reusable then? Is that piece permanent?
Yes, it would be on stage. It wouldn't for... You see, the trouble with this is, I don't know what it looked like on camera, but in fact it is a stage makeup. It's not a television makeup.
Yeah.
I did this once on television for the BBC for an hour and a half, and in fact the makeup then took something like 7 or 8 hours, you know.
Because of the cameras?
Yes, because they come in terribly close. And also I was doing it before an audience, and it was an hour and a half show. Yeah. And we couldn't stop it at all. You know, we had to press through for an hour and a half, so everything had to be glued on very firmly.
It's wonderful.
Could you talk for a moment, Dick?
I will. Is it worth having your own beard underneath all this? Isn't that making it a lot easier? And how do we know that's a real beard? Because your makeup is...
Well, I'll tell you a story about that beard after, if you like, and why I keep it.
If you like, I'll keep talking now while you get that off. Okay. You know, what you're doing, this kind of performing, is I think what I was destined to do if I'd continued to be an actor. When I was 12 years old, on radio, I played older men and even older women because of my strange, deep voice.
Well, I'm afraid it's always a lot of young, good-looking people like us.
Who are short, and therefore these big stiffs like Redford get the parts.
No, it is a challenge.
I played every old man and old woman on children's radio, even. Really? Yes, my good man, you know, and that sort of witches, and the arm of the cardinal reaches everywhere, and that sort of thing. And I was always doomed to the character roles, which are really the most interesting parts, I think, in many ways in dramatic.
I think so, yes. Someone once said I had a kind of facility for expressing myself through old age, and I was quite flattered by that. I think some of the best parts are character parts. I don't always play old men, but at least I nearly always play character parts.
You're really 48, are you?
No, not. I'm 49, actually.
By 49. And you play Aubrey at what age? 12, 17?
Well, I play him at... He's supposed to be 72, but of course an Elizabethan of 72 was an extremely old man.
Yeah.
I mean, they invariably died when they were 40 or 45. That was quite a good life in those days, 45. And so at 72, living in abject squalor, and if you have ever... Well, you have seen the set. Yeah. And you know what it's like. It's filled with absolutely rotten food and rotten game and all kinds of... In fact, there were a couple of people watching the show the other night. I heard them at the end, because I didn't go off at the end. I was sitting there in the chair where I died. And she said, oh, she said, it's so sad he died. He said, sad? He said, he should have died years ago with all this crap around.
I see you can also play Americans. That's very good.
Very badly, I'm afraid.
I was going to ask you, well, poor old Aubrey doesn't know that he's a star on Broadway. He was pretty much unrecognized in his own lifetime, and
yes,
well,
indeed.
completely, wasn't he?
Well, that's the thing that kind of helps me and pushes me along when I'm tired, you know, is the fact that I think I'm a very lucky actor because I'm not playing a character who is the figment of some author's imagination, some playwright's imagination. I'm playing a man who existed, who received no recognition in his lifetime, and he was the first English diarist. And I think ranks quite favorably with people like John Evelyn and Samuel Pepys and so on, and yet received none of their recognition. Yeah. He was a man who lived most of his life at Oxford, and we often thought of doing a show composed entirely around his exploits at Oxford. And he, in fact, died there. And when we were researching it, this is just to give you some idea of the kind of recognition that he received. When we were researching the show, we found he died in Oxford and been buried in Mary Magdalene's church. There was no monument, nothing there, but we persuaded a friendly vicar to delve into the archives, and there we found the recording of his death, which said, John Aubrey, a stranger, was buried here 1697. And those were the two words one wanted to wipe away. What I love about this show, it seems to appeal to young people tremendously. Possibly old people are too close to be able to identify. They don't think it particularly funny that a man is doddering around, thank you, Dick, and slopping milk all over the place. They probably tend to do that themselves. And
that's right. It's really magical to watch this transformation. It may not be.
I look even older now, don't I?
This may be agony for you, but to see this is just magic.